is 7:06, and you will probably remember from last month I had continued the public hearing for the extension of terms from 2 years to 4 years for the mayor and trustees, subject to permissive referendum. I have since pulled that resolution, and it will not be on, and I have no intentions of bringing back to the floor that resolution to extend the terms. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to close that public hearing. The motion's been made by Trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
The motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It is 7:07, and I hereby open the public hearing. As soon as I can find the actual resolution. I'd just like to read the resolution itself. Can someone hand me the resolution? Or is it in my, here it is, I have it. Yep, I have it. Public hearing on proposed local law number 3 of 2012, local law amending chapter 231 of the village code to provide supplementary regulations for development in the RB district, to amend the list of permitted and specially permitted uses, and to make other changes. At this point, are there comments to the Board of Trustees on this issue? Please state your name and your address if you're willing, if you would like to address the board.
My name is Tyson Craig. I own the property at the corner of Broadway and 9G. It's 5091 Route 9G. I had purchased that, I can't remember exactly, about 5 years ago, with the idea to maybe someday do something with the commercial idea of being the RB zone. So I'm here curious to see what kind of changes we made, because that was part of the reason why I bought the property.
We're going to have a discussion by the planner in a few moments. So
Okay.
hopefully we can answer some of your other questions as well. Anyone else willing or interested in addressing the board on this issue? If there are no other comments at this time, and I'll allow the board to comment at this well, but at this point I would turn the floor over to our planner, Michelle Gregg, and then we'll allow the board to ask questions as well, and of course from the public.
Great, well, thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Michelle Gregg, and I'm the planning consultant to the Village of Tivoli. And the Village of Tivoli over the past several years has been gradually amending the zoning amendments and the village code to make it consistent with the recommendations of the comprehensive plan, which was adopted, I believe, in 2005, 2006, 2005. So they're gradually trying to bring the zoning amendment, the zoning law, into conformance with the comprehensive plan. And this action, this proposed local law, is part of that ongoing process. As you may be aware, New York State village law requires that zoning amendments be consistent with the comprehensive plan. And if you haven't read the village's comprehensive plan, I know some of the people in this room wrote it, but some people might not have read it, and I encourage you to take a look. So the Village of Tivoli appointed a zoning review committee a number of months ago to look into the residential business district, the RB district, which is located along Route 9G. I have a small zoning map here that shows it. It's the dark brown color here, located either side of Broadway along Route 9G. Some of the properties are fronting on 9G, okay, on either side of Broadway coming into the village here. So the zoning review committee was asked to review that district for conformance with the recommendations in the comprehensive plan, and they made recommendations to the Board of Trustees, which a draft local law which the board finalized, which is the subject of this public hearing tonight. The local law recommends a number of changes to the list of permitted and special permitted uses, and it also introduces some design standards for development in that area. The purpose of the district is really to allow for a range of uses, both residential and commercial, while still preserving that area of the community as the gateway to Tivoli. It really is the first thing you see when you're coming into Tivoli. It sort of is the gateway. So the district is really, it's trying to enhance the quality of the built environment and promote site layout and architectural design compatible with the rural, scenic, historic, and natural character of the community. community. That's the purpose of the district. The amendments are consistent with the village's comprehensive plan, which recommends that the Route 9G, quote, be maintained and enhanced as a designated scenic roadway. And it recommends that the uses there be small scale with ample landscaping and preservation of historic structures and scenic views. So, for example, and the comprehensive plan is very specific about which uses should be permitted as of right, and it says that any other uses that are allowed in that district should be allowed subject to issuance of a special permit. So, some of the new uses that have been proposed to be introduced for this district include agriculture, bed and breakfast, and some businesses that support agriculture, such as farmers market or equipment sales and rentals. Some of the uses that were previously permitted uses are now proposed to be subject to an issuance of a special permit, and examples of those would be motel and offices. And then there are a few uses that have been deleted altogether from the list of allowable uses, including light industry and a gas station. Service station would still be allowed, but a gas station, which is called a filling station in zoning limits, would not be allowed. I should mention that in preparing the draft version, the draft local law, the draft version of these amendments, the zoning review committee invited all of the landowners in the RB zoning district to a meeting, which occurred a couple of months ago, I guess now. And so they sat down and met with the landowners, and they reviewed the comprehensive plan, the recommendations in the comp plan. They explained the local law and what was being considered by the zoning review committee, and they listened to comments of the landowners and made some modifications to their proposal based on comments from the landowners before they even forwarded it to the Board of Trustees. So the full text of the local law is available from the Village Hall. If you haven't already had an opportunity to see it, you can take a look at it there. And the board will be entertaining comments on this tonight. Thank you.
For those of you that are watching this at home, if you cannot be here tonight to share your comments, you can always email or hard copy mail or drop off comments to the village clerk, and we'll be sure to have them submitted into the record. So I wanted to make sure people are aware of that. Michelle, thank you very much. Are there questions, more questions from the public? Anyone wishing to ask questions of the board, of our planner and or the attorney? Or does the board have any questions that they would like to ask?
Brian, first of all, I think it's nice that the people who lived in that district got to meet with the people who were revising that particular part of the zoning. I think that's a very positive thing, since they really were out in full force at the zoning meeting. My question is, where do you go now with this? Because I haven't really had a chance to get a hold of it yet to read it. I know it hasn't been on the website. Is there another meeting scheduled after this one, before the board adopts this? And what is the process?
I'll let Trustee Andrade talk about the logistics of it, but our plan tonight is to even keep this public hearing open even longer, so that the committees can continue meeting and so on and so forth. So to make sure everything is buttoned up. Do you want to discuss any further?
Well, I hope with the aid of our attorney, because I may get the order of things not quite correct, but because these zoning changes are a type 1 action,
And even put you on the spot.
which is because we're in a historic district, we're in a historic landmark district. Anytime you take this kind of an action, you have to have a very broad, what's called a seeker review, which is an environmental quality, state environmental quality review. And that requires you to look at several stages. And they mostly have to do with consistency of what is being proposed with what has been a part of village law in the past, i.e. the comprehensive plan, or the coastal management program, or the local waterfront revitalization program. All of these are part of village law or state law that affects the village of Tivoli. So the process is prolonged because different boards have to review different aspects of this. For example, the planning board at their workshop on Monday took a look at, I presume, the coastal and the local waterfront revitalization plan. And that plan has to do with what we want that waterfront to look like and the village that leads into it, so that this will be an enhancement of our Hudson River location. So the planning board at their next meeting, which is next Monday, will be making a determination of whether or not they recommend to the board that these new zoning laws are consistent with these other, the coastal management program and the local waterfront revitalization program. So that's part of the process. And the planning board is an open meeting. You can go to it. You can hear what's said. You can also ask questions there. And then this board, once that review has been done and whatever the planning board then recommends to us about this law, we will consider it. We'll hold the hearing open and we will consider whether or not to approve the local law or extend the hearing at our September meeting.
Right, and part of that process will be this board also looking at local waterfront revitalization plan consistency. You will look at seeker because you've declared yourselves the lead agency. You will review the comments from the Dutchess County Planning, and then you can consider your own adoption.
Yeah, and the kinds of things that these documents, particularly the Seeker Act document, asks are, what will be the impact on views? What will be the impact on water quality, on other issues? So, for example, when the zoning review committee was looking at the issue of whether or not a gas station, which had been allowable under the old law, should continue to be allowable, one of the issues was, well, Tivoli has a wellhead just on the other side of the road from this RB district. Is it really appropriate that we have a facility that could contaminate water be in that location? And so that was one of their considerations. That is the kind of thing that goes on. We also looked at, the zoning review committee also looked at this document that was written in, completed in 96.
91, the other,
Yeah, no, the comprehensive
oh,
plan.
I think it was adopted in 2005.
2005, so it's fairly recent, and it had an image of how you could develop that area, which would enhance not only that area, but the rest of Tivoli.
Thank you.
I think
Go ahead.
my only question is, if I get a copy of this tomorrow from the village hall to look over to read, will there be another time for public comment on what the changes are going to be? Because I'm sure that Michelle just gave us a rough sketch of an idea of the changes. I'm sure that there's much more detail in the document that she has. Or if you have a comment, will there be time? Do I have to email somebody? Will there be a meeting?
We're keeping
Go.
this hearing open,
Yeah.
aren't we?
This is
So
one-
can I just suggest one thing? I mean, the board is suggesting that it's intending to keep the hearing open. However, I mean, the board called this hearing some time ago, and the document's been available, and I guess I would suggest that anyone who does have comments, it would be very helpful if they submitted those comments in an email or in another, written form to the village board ahead of time, so that those considerations can be taken into account.
And
Okay.
Brian, to facilitate the question, where is this plan available and how can somebody get a hold of it?
We would have a hard copy here in the village hall. In the village hall, we'd be more than happy to just provide someone with a copy of
Can I take it with me, or do I have to leave it here? Is it something that stays here?
it. We can provide you with copies, correct?
For 25 cents.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the
You have
way
to pay
it
for
is.
the copy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish it were online.
Any other comments? Counselor, there's no reservations with placing it online, correct?
No, you could, it's just a matter of, yeah, you need to scan it.
We can get it to the webmaster and get it online. Can you give me a day?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, that's good.
because I've been looking for it and I haven't seen it on.
We can get it online. We've been trying to put as much as we possibly can up online, so we can definitely do that.
Thank you.
And then people would have an opportunity to review it
It's
and then
easier.
send their questions and comments in. And you should, if you're going to email them, send them in to clerk@tivoliny.org. So, any other further questions or comments from the floor? Does anyone from the board have any questions for our planner or council?
And Mr. Mayor, I just want to note that we did receive from Dutchess County Planning their response. We
Yes.
referred this to them for their comments, and you received comments which are in the record, but they've indicated they have no objection to the proposed provisions which clarify the uses and design standards that are appropriate and support gateway location. They went on to make some comments about the standards for multifamily development that you should review and consider. They don't relate to the 9G area specifically, but they relate to the board might consider reevaluating the standards for the central part of the village with respect to multifamily. They want you to consider that. So make sure that everybody sees that and has a chance to consider that, in your next set of discussions regarding modifications.
You'll remember that when we were going through this process, we identified a lot of other issues that could be addressed, but we really tried to keep the focus at this time, just to accomplish this, just on the Route 9D, Route 9G, sorry, area in the RB district. So you will notice, though, people who look at the local law, that there are other tables in fitting changes into the zoning. You sometimes have to tinker with other sections of the zoning. So there are, if we change the terminology of roadside stand, I think it was called something before, farm stand or something, we change the terminology, then we have to change it in other tables too to make it consistent. So you will see that there are other use tables in the local law, but they're very minor changes in those. The focus really was on the RB district, and we really tried to just keep that focus there. We saw other things that could have been changed, but you can open up a whole can of worms, so we really tried to just keep the focus on the
And
RB
what
district.
Michelle brings up is the broader issue with this 2005 plan. The village did begin a process of changing our zoning laws to be more up to date and more consistent with that plan's design. So many of our zoning laws were adopted back in the mid-'80s. They were adopted wholesale from a zoning book. These will be really adapted to who Tivoli is. Yeah.
Any other comments, questions from the board? There are no other comments from the public? No? It is 7:24. We will move into...
Mr. Mayor, can I have you have a formal motion to continue the hearing to?
Oh, yes, I'm
Specific
sorry.
date, time, and place.
Sure.
Whatever time and place you want.
We will continue, there's a motion to continue the public hearing, and we would close that hearing on September 19th.
So moved.
Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. September 19th at 7 p.m. We'll continue until then. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7:25 it is now. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much, and I want to again extend my thanks to my predecessor, Mayor Cordier, Trustee Israedi, all members of the ZRC, to Michelle Gregg before she runs out the door, to council, and all the members on that committee for all of their efforts, and of course to the public for the comments that have been being brought forth on this very important issue. Greatly appreciate all the work that's being done. Moving on to regular business, a clerk's report. Okay, there are no clerk's report. Moving on to minutes. At this point, you've all had an opportunity to review the minutes. There are two sets of minutes in your packet. Minutes from July 24th, awarding Memorial Park bids, as well as minutes from last month's meeting as well. At At this point, I entertain a motion to approve both sets submitted. Motion's been made by trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to schedule of upcoming events. Trustee Israel.
Excuse me, Mayor, there's also meeting minutes for July 18th. There are two for July 24th and one for July 18th. There are two public hearings and.
I didn't do the hearing. I didn't do the hearing.
I think we missed one.
Yeah, we have the CDBG hearing and we did the,
We did the public hearing, you did
Yeah,
the two for July.
setting the local,
There were two for July 18th and then one for July 24th. We have three sets.
Right.
And we only.
Special board meeting, July 24th, public hearing minutes on July 18th, regular.
I apologize. I think I missed the regular meeting. Okay, my apologies. You've all had an opportunity to review the regular monthly board minutes. Is there a motion to entertain? Someone will make a motion. So tongue-tied. Motion's been made by trustee Bruno and seconded by the deputy mayor. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Clerk Ganella. Trustee Israel.
upcoming events.
Yes.
You turn to me, and the reason is because the Tivoli Street Painting Festival will be taking place. And if any of you have heard rumors that it will not be taking place, they are false without grounding any of that. We'll be there on September 29th unless it rains. And then we will reschedule to September 30th, and if that doesn't work, we'll go to the following Saturday. But that only happened once since I've
Yes.
been doing it, and I don't want it to happen again, so. And keep your eyes peeled. We've been putting notices, the Council of the Arts calendar, and I just got, actually, Emily Mangieri turned me on to this one. If you've never seen this, this is the Hudson River Ramble. It lists all kinds of activities in the Hudson Valley, hikes, outings, excursions, places to go. And right there, number 100, the Tivoli Street Painting Festival. So be there.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Trustee Israni. Moving on to the treasurer's report. We've all had an opportunity to approve the treasurer's, or to review the treasurer's report. Letting you know, we are paying out of the general fund $25,096.33. And of the water fund, we are spending $4,595.36. And of sewer, $4,987.70 for a grand total of $52,045.38. At this point, I entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Motion's been made by trustee Isradi and seconded by trustee Griffith. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to say that there have been very wonderful efforts to give those of us who are a little slower at reading these things extra information ahead of the meetings, and they are very much appreciated.
Thank you, trustee Isradi.
It's easier to do this. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There are some rather large bills this month. One of the larger bills being the payment to Panda for our share, all the municipalities that are involved. But at this point, I would entertain a motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made in second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to a zoning report. Trustees Rudd?
No.
Okay.
Just a moment. I believe $80 has been paid to the planning board for two building projects in the village. One is, I can't remember, but anyway, that's the entirety of the activity that's, the building permits that have been issued.
Okay. Thank you much. We did post our agenda online. Unfortunately, there was not much on the agenda tonight, but is there a motion on the floor to allow the public to discuss anything with the board that's on our agenda? Motion's been made by trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, is there anyone willing, or is there anything on the agenda that you would like to discuss with the board? Seeing none, a motion to close and return to regular business. So moved. Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next board meeting will be held Wednesday, September 19th, 7 p.m. here at the Village Hall. There will be a workshop at 6. The regular workshop will take place September 12th at 6 p.m. In my office. Moving on to trustee reports, Deputy Mayor Lee.
Okay, with the water report, let's see, we had the Warlot well was shut off. Mac 1 well, we averaged around 8 gallons per minute out of that well for 363,000 gallons. 2 PW well, it averaged around 6 gallons per minute, 6.5 gallons per minute, at 297,300 gallons pumped out of that one. 5 PW averaged 7.5 gallons per minute, with 340,000 gallons out of that well. 4 PE, 10 PE well, 12 gallons per minute, that was 559,100 gallons. Woodmark well, our best well, that averaged around 23 gallons per minute at 905 gallons, 600. And we had a water main break on Woods Road, about 250 feet south of the last hydrant. And that is all I have.
We are aware of the leak here in front of Village Hall again. We had rectified it. It is starting to leak again. So DPW is looking at that one. There was a leak on Woods Road as you pull off of Broadway, right in front of my house actually. That has been rectified. This one we're trying to prevent having to dig into the ground. The one on Woods Road we did have to dig a little bit, but hopefully this one can be rectified soon. Trustee Israedi?
I have no comment on LoSAP. We've finished the compilation of points on that, and I believe the bill has been issued and will be viewed shortly. The planning and zoning boards have been meeting regularly, and they have a full complement of members, thanks to some very good efforts on the part of everybody here. We are still looking for alternates for both of those boards, so if you hear of anybody who's interested, let us know, and we'll give them a little wiggle room.
Great. Thank you. Trustee Bruno?
Okay, I have a few things to mention. Right after our last meeting, Summer Rec did conclude. Many thanks again to Gail and her crew for offering another fantastic program to the kids for the summer. Sub night was very successful. That was on the 20th.
Best one yet?
Yeah, the 20th of July. Many thanks to the rec committee and Emily Mangieri, and also to everyone who did come out and support the event. At the end of the month, we had yard sale day, but it did rain. It was a bit, yes, it was a soggy day. A highlight, however, was to have our county executive back, coming up to Tivoli and assisting Mayor Grana with the maps, and it's always a pleasure to have him back, in the village.
And the pie eating contest.
At the bakery?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's also a highlight of that day.
The 9th annual pie eating contest.
Oh.
Pie baking, not pie eating. Pie baking, I'm sorry. Mary Creech, I apologize. I know it was pie baking.
Oh.
I did want to say, despite the rain, we ordered 700 maps. We had less than 200 maps left over, and we know that there were many people that came in that did not get maps. So despite the rain, we still had people. We had people traveling from Connecticut that day. One poor gentleman, his wife made him come up. They were headed to New Jersey, and they came through. And they shopped as well, so it was still a success, despite the rain, it was still a success. We had a lot of people in the village that day.
Yes.
My thanks to DPW for helping us out, getting cones, and of course, my thanks to my staff, Linda and Claire, for getting the maps developed and designed, and getting about 700 maps out to everybody by the time the day was over. So I greatly appreciate it, and my thanks to our county exec. So,
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
sorry, I didn't mean to jump.
No, that's fine. An update regarding the park. Contracts are in the process of being completed. It is really coming together and making for a fantastic project. We have had the Germantown Baseball League has contacted me. They are so full of enthusiasm, and they're gaining their own level of momentum. And they're fundraising to fix and repair and paint dugouts. They've already got paint. They're looking into lighting. We have a Boy Scout who's going to be completing his Eagle Scout project. He'll be here. And there have just been so many people, and actually quite a few have responded to your media release, and even young people from Rhinebeck who have offered and are willing to come up and be a part of making this sort of new memorial park. There's a lot that's been going on. Our own Cody Thayer from our DPW, he's part of the Baseball League. He's decided to come back on any given day and help with everything. The contractors everything is moving along. And I got some good news today, even that a local youth group from a church has offered to come and be a part of all of the changes. One other quick thing is for everyone is please don't forget that library of ours. There are amazing women down there doing an incredible job. And don't forget our Masons and the Legion with their breakfasts and dinners. They're always fantastic events to attend. And I think with all my papers, I think that's it.
Trustee Griffith, thank you, Trustee.
I'll begin with the court report covering charges from July 1st, 2012 to July 31st, 2012. Total charges received, 7. Total charges disposed, 26. Total money collected and remitted to the state comptroller. Fines, $772.50. Surcharges, $595. There were no civil fees, for a total of $1,367.50. Also, last month, I mentioned that the village has received a donation for the purpose of a tunnel feasibility study that could be undertaken by the village regarding our future park. And, you know, we all are really excited about what we could do down there, and the rubbing point is the access, because the crossing will have to be closed, and it's sort of like that, how to get to grandmother's house, can you go over, can you go under? So we're going to, because we got this generous donation, which we're grateful to get, I would like to ask the board to consider this resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement for professional engineering services regarding feasibility study at the Tivoli Waterfront Park.
Motion's been moved by Trustee Griffith. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded by Trustee Israedi. Is there any discussion on this?
I'll just explain. So this resolution lets the village get into an agreement with the engineer who can then begin the study.
I would like a roll call vote on this. I think anything that we're doing with regards to the waterfront, we should have that documented. So Trustee Griffith?
Aye.
Trustee Bruno?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Leedy?
Aye.
Trustee Israedi?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. The motion carries. And I want to thank council for drafting this up on a short notice. And again, my thanks to you and your committee on this project. Is there anything else? Okay. Is there anything else from the board before we go ahead?
You know, I was just talking about the park. I would like to sincerely, personally, here on camera, thank Ron Evangelista from Morris for working so painstakingly. He has been such a help to me. Really has.
I echo that sentiment. There are comments from the public. Yes, sir. David Cleveland.
Down at the waterfront, there's a dock down there.
Yes. dock was built by a gentleman, it's a private dock that is on village property. That dock was built by a gentleman named Jerome Crandall-Hollick. It is on village property illegally, and that issue has been addressed with Mr. Crandall-Hollick, and copies of the letter asking, informing Mr. Jerome Crandall-Hollick, copies of the letter telling him that his structure is there illegally has been sent to various authorities.
Has he been given a citation or anything by the zoning?
I don't know where it is with regards to zoning. I don't know the answer to that. We have forwarded it on to zoning. We did, correct?
Yes,
Yes, we
zoning
did.
is aware.
Yeah, zoning is aware of it, as are several other state agencies.
What takes so long to issue a violation down there?
I don't know. We'll follow up with zoning on that issue. They're an independent, they work independently from us, taking our recommendations and so on and so forth. But it's definitely something that the board is aware of and not in concern about.
He's operating a for-profit business down there.
Yes.
On village property.
Yes.
Could I put a bait shop down there myself and sell bait?
Bait or bait?
He's not doing so with danger.
Fishing bait. I mean,
I mean, he's not doing it
I
with
think
our.
there's some
No.
liability down there. If Johnny Doe falls between his boat and that dock and crushes his leg, I'd be worried for a lawsuit.
We have addressed this issue with council. It's probably, 9 months ago, Mr. Griffith, that we began addressing this issue. I agree with you, and we have taken the proper steps.
Yeah, we're very concerned. We did inherit it when we purchased the property from the railroad. The dock precedes
And-
our ownership. so-
Whose expense will it be removed by?
To be removed? Well, I would be billed to Mr. Crandall-Hollick when it's pulled out of.
It's in process.
Yeah, I know. Brian, do the people who kayak use that too? I mean, is it
I don't know the answer to that, Karen.
I
I
just
honestly
wondered
don't.
how much of a public dock it's.
I don't believe so, because I don't
Okay.
think you would, anytime that I've seen anyone kayaking from there,
Right,
you just
water-
go in.
Water's
Yeah,
edge.
go
I've never seen anybody using the dock for
But
that.
I also, we've been going down the river lately, and there are kids swimming in the river. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The danger keep out signs, what do they mean down there?
Exactly that.
Exactly.
Who's enforcing that?
The Dutchess County Sheriff's Office does enforce that.
So if we,
Because I can tell you, we've gotten calls from residents that have been stopped by by deputies of the Dutchess County
so
Sheriff's
if they
Office.
patrol down there and they see a kid in there swimming, they can issue them a
They've
whatever.
been, I don't know if anyone's been ticketed for doing it. I don't know, but I know that I've received calls from residents complaining to me that they were told to get out of the water or off of that property by their deputies because they
Oh, I was down there
technically
the other day,
trespassing.
a big ship came up the river.
They're
And
after
I
you.
tell you what, it was quite a wake there.
It is, I know. But no, it is patrolled regularly. Not only is it patrolled regularly by the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office, state police are down there, they patrol. It's also patrolled by state park police as well.
One
And
more-
I believe, go ahead.
One more thing.
Yeah, no, please.
The property transfer of the American Legion property to the village and vice versa, whatever, what's the status of that?
That has not been completed yet. That's something that we've been working on probably for about,
9 years?
we hope to have that actually, seriously hope to have that resolved probably in about 2 months, give or take.
Give or take.
That's a progress takes time.
Give here, take it.
It's definitely in the works.
Okay,
Everybody's
And-
working toward the same goal.
Right, everybody's,
Put it that way.
looking at the finish line.
and
and
is
it's-
So
the
one more.
Panzer Stu Hannah parking lot, has that been resolved there?
Long time ago.
So that's the village parking lot?
It always was.
Well, now,
That was a long time ago.
I talked to you the other day about an abandoned car there, are we doing anything with that?
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
You did say one more.
I could go on.
I let you go.
It's not clear to me what the signs mean down by the riverfront. I know what they mean, but where exactly do they mean it? Does that mean not going in the water or not even going across
Yes.
Yes, the crossing is there for CSX. It's not
Exactly,
public
and
crossing.
actually, I spoke with CSX today, and that was one of the questions, because the gentleman I spoke with was in Florida, and he was just trying to pull it up on a map, and he says, what is this crossing for? The village line, or the village road ends right there, as you know, and that road really is for CSX and emergency vehicles only. And if we need to access it for any reason, but really, no one should be going over that.
I was down there, like I said the other day, there was probably 6 cars on the other side of the tracks and another half a dozen on this side.
Mm.
And there's little kids running all over to get to this Captain Jerome's Tivoli Sailing Company, or whatever it is. I mean, it's dangerous down there.
When it's patrolled, when the patrols are there and they see people down there,
Well, they should be there at 4 o'clock when he brings his boats in.
they're told to leave the property. But yes, to answer your question, yes and yes. I wasn't trying to be funny. Yes, you're not supposed to go over that. It's really for CSX vehicles, emergency vehicles, and if we need to access that area as well. So no one really should be going over that property. But we know that they do.
Which is
Yeah.
all the more reason for us to continue to strive towards the waterfront park. I mean, the
To close
usage
it.
is already there. We sort of need to catch up to how much we all love being next to that river.
Well, somebody's cleaned it up down there. I give him credit.
And I want to thank Marty Clark,
Wonderful job.
and I want to thank Trustee Griffith. I don't know who else
Mark Bennett?
was down there cleaning it up. I want to thank these 3 gentlemen for doing that on a Saturday afternoon. It was cleaned up. There was a lot of brush that was pulled out of there. There was garbage that was pulled out of there. DPW has gotten that pulled. It looks really nice. And DPW got that pulled out of there. There are some abandoned boats that were placed on there that we are addressing. One boat is on CSX property. CSX was made aware of that this afternoon.
There's 2 boats.
Right, but I mean, there's one on CSX and one on village property.
Looks nice, thank you.
They did a very nice job.
We'll put a pirate flag on them and sail them off to the river.
So they did all that illegally, actually.
No, they didn't. No, they did that with my blessing as mayor. Any further discussions from the public, from the board? It is 7:48, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Motion's been made by the deputy mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.